chance to go pull a big upset? Kind of what's your mindset going in? Kind of how do you guys approach a week like this?
We're very focused. We could get a lot of mental reps, and we just gonna play on Saturday. We're gonna let our pads do the talk.
David?
It's just like any other week. We go 1-0, just like Coach Dammer says. Play fast, but not in a hurry. We just gonna go out there like we usually do every other week.
Just gonna hit them, I guess. Yeah. So special teams, we'll just do whatever we can to help out the offense, give them some good fields, and help the defense out, get them some longer fields to work with, and just get out there and hit them.
Help to get those 2 extra days to prepare for a team like this?
Yeah, because we gotta be very focused, and Coach Hood always prepares us going into the week, so we just gotta go out there and just play, because they gonna come out and they gonna think it's gonna be an easy game, but it's not gonna be an easy game. So.
What do you guys take, if anything, from, and I know it's totally different season, different teams, different atmosphere, but can you take anything from the trip to Florida late in the season last year in terms of acclimation to atmosphere, bigger team, anything like that?
You got.
Just don't sleep on us. We're gonna come out there. We're gonna work on the field just like they do. They put their shoulder pads on just like we do. They bleed just like we do. We just gonna go out there and play ball.
I know you weren't there last year, but you guys were. Talk about the Miami, beating Miami, pulling that upset, and kind of what you guys can take from that. Obviously, it's a different team, different year. Obviously, kind of what can you guys take from that experience?
That we've done it before, really. That it's not impossible. We can beat any team that's on the other side of the field, just like they can beat us. But it's great playing those teams, the bigger teams. They after beating them, confidence is up. Like it's especially playing those crowds. It's fun playing in front of the crowds. It's good. FBS don't have anything, that we can't match.
What were the positives, since some of us didn't get to talk to you after the game the other night, positives and things to work on from the opening season win?
Well, we had a lot of men errors and stuff like that, so we got to get a lot of things scraped up and good for this week. And like I said, Coach Hood always prepares, and we just got to go out there and make the plays. And like I said, this is not going to be an easy game, and I really think we're going to pull an upset, though, and win.
What positives do you take from that first win?
The positives we take, we 1-0, and we can get better each week.
What did it feel like punching that, just taking one in and getting in the end zone? Had to feel good, I'm sure.
I've been so anxious these couple years going by, so it felt really good to have Coach Hood on my side, have me out there actually on the field, making some things happen. So it felt really good. It was a relief. I'm so glad it finally came.
Like the play call, obviously. I mean, did you have that sense, kind of, ooh, yeah, that's my play. I think I could take that one in.
We ran a couple of plays I really like a lot. That last play when we ran, I think it was Colts. We ran Colts. I knew it was coming.
Talk about the defensive side of it. They obviously hung 49 on Troy. They scored 5 rushing touchdowns. Kind of what have you guys seen on film so far?
We seen the same film against Troy, but we not Troy, so we gonna go out there and hit them in the mouth, and we gonna make them tap out. So, but I know they're gonna be very prepared, and we gonna be very prepared.
Offensively, what's the? Obviously, you guys are gonna do what you guys do: run the ball, some play action pass. Obviously, you guys are not gonna change what you do, I guess, right?
No, sir. We go out there with a mindset of we're gonna just go down the field. We're gonna either pass the ball. We got some good receivers on the outside, good slots, and we got some good backups for the running backs. And we still got a good starter out there, working hard every day, giving his all. So we just want to come out and hit him in the mouth.
Keith, you and I talked a little bit a minute ago about Jordan Berry and sort of the tradition EKU is building with the connection to Australia and Australian punters, and you're next in that line, and now leading the nation and punting yourself. Talk a little bit about what that means to you, all that kind of together.
Well, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot for like all the other punters back home with Nathan Chapman, Johnny, with Croaky Australia. Just if I can show this, then it gives the younger guys a chance, and the team's going to be looking at them and all that. So once I graduate from here, and leave the spot open for another Australian, and just keep on the way I'm doing. And I'm surprised that about the leading the nation. I didn't know about that, so that's real cool. So, but yeah, Nathan Chapman and the boys down back home are preparing and just whipping a lot of young Australians into shape to get over here. So it's a great. I think it's good for the American game, and it's great for the Australians as well.
How big is American football compared to Australian rules football?
I think American football is a little bit more worldwide than the Australian game is, but the Australian game is getting starting to get real big. Like it's now got its own World Cup, which Australia can't actually compete in, which has been understandable, but. It's good. Like you get over here, some people talk to me about the Australian game, and then like back home, I'll talk to my mates about the Australian game. Like I mean the American game. Like I've followed the American game for probably 10 years now, even when I was back home. So it's I'd say the American game is a little bit bigger, but Australia's catching up. Yeah, definitely.
You obviously, Jordan came back last year and you worked out a lot with him. Kind of talk about him being here and working with you and your relationship.
Yeah, no, it's good. When he came back over here, it was good to have some pointers and stuff like that, because like the way we punt the ball was a little bit different to the American way. So it was just good to have him over here to just sort of instruct on what a couple of hiccups I had and all this, and also saying what's good from the American side of it, what works as well. So. And just his experience in the wind out here, because we all know it's a bit of a wind tunnel out there. So he just gave us some more pointers on the better way to hold the ball and stuff like that. And his knowledge is great. It's great that he can pass it down to me.
Okay. Well, obviously there's no blueprint to do this. I guess you got to go up there, play well. You got to have some luck, and some things have got to go right. But you guys have done it before, so your kids seem pretty confident.
I mean, it's like any other game, they're really good. I mean, they're an ACC team. I mean, there's no question about it. They belong in the ACC, and they're, it's watching them on film. I'd be surprised if they're not one of the top, 3 or 4 teams in the ACC. Just from what I remember being in the league, they look pretty daggone talented. So, there's no taking that away from them. I mean, they're that good. But as far as how you go about your business, that doesn't change. I mean, you've got to embrace the process of what you can control and how you practice and the things that you're working on, and your base fundamentals of offense and defense and how you match up against them, and all those things that you look at every single week doesn't change.
I'll take you on a flashback here. When they played there 10 years ago, I guess you were at Wake when EKU played down at State the last time. But they scored about 6 seconds into the game, so you obviously can't. Hard to overcome that kind of a catastrophic beginning. So obviously you've got to, not make big mistakes, especially not early, I would suppose.
Yeah. Well, Bull Rider stays on for 8 seconds, so at least we should be able to do that. We should be able to top 10 years ago and hold them down for at least 8 seconds and win that battle. But you play a big team. You don't want to get down early, especially at a place like that. You get that wolf howling in that stadium and getting them all into the game. I mean, that's always a disadvantage. It's always an advantage for you anytime you're on the road or anytime you're playing a big game to get a good start. There's no question that helps. And special teams are huge. If they scored that quick, I'm assuming it was on a special teams play. And
drop the opening kickoff, one play later they scored.
Yeah, so that's when you're playing an FBS team, that's always an issue. They got 85 and you got 63, and so if you're into your twos, the bigger discrepancy between your twos and their twos than there is between your ones and their ones. So you got to play really good on special teams.
Well, that was one of the impressive things about last year at Miami, was that Miami's first possession, they just marched right down the field on you guys, and you didn't give up another touchdown the rest of the game. So the kids were able to bounce back from a pretty tough first series there.
Yeah, and then able to. That was a new team, new staff. They played one game, I think, maybe. So there wasn't a lot of film on them, so our coaches did a great job of, okay, here's what they're doing now, boys, lock in. And that's every game you play. You got to be able to make adjustments on the sidelines, and the kids got to be able to transfer it onto the field.
You like the fact that your kids are sitting up there saying that we're going to go down there? Give them
If
hell.
if I had a way to figure those guys out, I'd go to Vegas, make a lot of money, quit doing this. You know, they're confident you get beat by half 100, and they're hanging their head and look like they're scared and win by half 100. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. You can't tell.
But you did have a nice easy win to start off with, and 9 days to prepare. So it's the schedule gives you a little bit of extra advantage here to go in there with some momentum and also some extra game planning time.
Yeah, I mean, we got a physical advantage because I thought that was the thing we did. Devontae talked about it. I thought that's the thing we did against Valpo was we were fast and we were physical. Now, mentally, we made a lot of mistakes. Now, we covered it up because we were fast and physical. You play against a good team, you make some of the mistakes we made against Valpo, and it equals yards. We had guys making mental errors, but because we were running to the ball, we covered those up. It's not going to happen against a good football team, but because we played fast and physical, I felt we were good on that part of the game, so we took a day off to rest their body, but then we brought them back Sunday and practiced, and it was just in shells, and it was just for the mental side of the game, getting lined up right, executing the calls right, hearing the calls right, all the communication, all the things that we did poorly against Valpo. So getting, an extra day for the body and an extra day for the mind before we actually start today, that's a huge advantage against anybody you play.
Who will be at quarterback? Will you keep with the rotation or the platoon system, if you will?
I mean, I haven't talked to Coach Dameron at all about it, but, it's my understanding that Benny won the job. We were going with Benny, and Benny had a issue with an allergic reaction to something. I don't know exactly what, but he had an allergic reaction to something, and so it was Kyle, get in there, and he did a great job. So when it went back to Benny, there wasn't, and I didn't see him hiccup at all. I mean, it was thought he was sharp, thought he made some good throws, thought he made some deep throws, thought he made some medium range throws. Screen game, controlled passing game was good, and move the ball, and so I don't think there was any indicator in the game that said either, Benny, you're going to be splitting time with Kyle. On the flip side, though, there wasn't anything that told us that Kyle Romano can't play, because I think he went out there and showed that he can play.
I'm not supposed to see him Cantavius punch one in there, and he just kind of been sitting and lingering. We talked about, he's been so close several times, and then a little injury or something happens, and he has a little setback. To finally see him get one in the end zone and kind of get to feel good.
Yeah. Oh, I felt so happy for him. I mean, we've all known it about Cantavius, is that he's got the ability to do it. I mean, we signed him out of Bourbon County. I mean, it was, to date, that was the biggest player we, signed here in my time. Phenomenal high school player, but just academically, first 2 years really struggled, and that hurt him on the field, because he was so, struggling academically. He's got that in order. And then it was up and down physically, just about ready to break in and get some plays and get an injury, and then just come back from that and start, getting it figured out a little bit and get another little injury. And, never anything big, but just enough to keep him out. And here he went the whole camp. And, he was nicked and banged and bruised, but nothing to keep him out. And he was tough about it, and he got a lot of practice reps with Deshaun and, Adam being down. And he got his chance, and he showed what we all already knew about him.
What did you see defensively out of your guys with Valpo? You mentioned there were some mental mistakes. I saw some arm tackling, over pursuit maybe, and then tried to compensate for it. But what did you see defensively, especially up front?
The big thing I saw was, very few loafs. A lot of times you get loafs not because kids are lazy or not, but just because it's a game and they're thinking and they're second guessing and they're all that. We had none of that. I mean, it was a physical game. The kids ran to the ball, but we made a lot of mental errors. A lot of first game mental errors, and made a lot of first game missed tackles. Maybe a little too hyped, a little too amped. But that's the big thing, is we've got to get the mental side down, because that leads to that's what leads to big plays. And then stupid penalties. We running on the field with our helmet off and spinning the ball and self-inflicted wounds with penalties. We got to eliminate those.
How do you mention getting overhyped for the season opener? But I assume you know, it's going to be even more hype going down there because you have a chance to do something that hadn't been done here in a while, knocking off a major, nothing against Miami, but you can take out an ACC team here. Do you worry about that getting overhyped to where there is a 6-second touchdown like there was 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, you're always concerned about the mindset of your team, and it's a different animal, when you're playing an ACC school as opposed to playing a Mid-American Conference school. Not take nothing away from the kids or the coaches. I thought that was a great victory, but this is a different animal, and so be a difficult task. There's no question. Guys are going to be amped. There's a fine line between being too amped and not being up for the game, because it's a game of emotions. So just got to try to keep the thing even keel. You're always the opposite of the kids. They're too amped. You're trying to get them to relax. They're relaxed. You're out there screaming. So you're always trying to offset that thing.
Deshaun was held out in the fall because of his hamstring. He had 7 yards and 6 carries overnight. What is he still not back in shape, or is that they put 8 in the box? What was the answer for that?
Well, it's a little bit of both. It was we've held Deshaun out before, but it's been later in the season when he's been injured, so he's already in shape. So to hold him out during the beginning of the season, that's what he missed, was getting in shape, during camp. So that was part of it. He really wasn't himself. I think his injury was okay, but I don't think he really was himself being in top condition. And then it was the fact that they committed, especially early, to the run. Until we opened them up with some deep balls and stuff, they were 100% committed to, we got no shot of winning this game unless we, put 8 in the box and outnumber them, mathematically, and, keep them from running the football.
Last year you had Florida last game regular season. This year both of your FBS games are early. I'm assuming you probably prefer to play those early and get those out of the way instead of having them later in the year like last year.
Oh, no question. I mean, that was I think that was a great game for us. Financially, it was a great game for us. Recruiting, it was a great game for us to give our kids a chance to play in that venue. It was a terrible game for us, location in our schedule, before the playoffs. So scheduling is not a perfect science, and it was what it was, and we got a quarterback hurt, and I feel like that led to a little bit of what cost us against Indiana State. But, would I rather have it in the beginning? Yeah, absolutely.
The years at Wake, you guys obviously played at Carter Finley. Kind of talk about that fan base and how tough it is to play there.
Well, you got to try to keep that wolf from howling. That's a big thing. If that wolf's howling, it's kind of like being at Murray and that horse running around the track. That's not real good.
Anything else, guys?
Thanks, guys.